What happens when a former pop star and TV favorite suddenly becomes the center of one of the most heated political debates in Britain? Tonight, we dive into the shocking story of Holly Valance and the moment that set social media ablaze. Viewers across the UK, Australia, and beyond are asking the same question. Why did Holly Valance appear at the controversial Unite the Kingdom rally, standing side by side with right-wing activist Tommy Robinson? This isn't just a simple celebrity sighting. This is about a public figure stepping into the most polarizing political moment of the year. Cameras captured her smiling, wearing a red, "Make England Great Again" cap, a deliberate nod to political movements that divide opinion. The internet erupted. Fans were shocked, critics furious, and news outlets couldn't stop talking about it. Holly Valance rose to fame as a young actress on Neighbours, later launching a music career that topped the charts in the early 2000s. But in recent years, she's largely stepped back from the spotlight, focusing on family life with her billionaire husband Nick Candy. Her sudden reappearance on the public stage, and at this specific rally, felt like a dramatic twist in a series we all thought had ended. The rally itself was no small affair. It was attended by thousands, some waving Union Jacks, others holding signs calling for political change. Tommy Robinson, a controversial figure in British politics, gave a fiery speech that split public opinion. And right there, among the cameras and microphones, was Holly Valance, not hidden, not silent, but fully visible and seemingly engaged. This is where things get complicated. Celebrity involvement in politics isn't new, but every time it happens, the same questions come up. Should stars use their platform to share their political beliefs? Should they stay neutral to avoid alienating fans? Holly Valance's appearance didn't just spark debate, it reignited conversations about celebrity influence and responsibility. Social media reaction was instant and fierce. One user wrote, "My 2000s childhood is ruined." Another tweeted, "Good for her, brave enough to stand up for what she believes." Hashtags like #HollyValance and #Unite the Kingdom trended on Twitter, with news outlets from London to Sydney covering the story in prime time. But beyond the headlines, there's a deeper question here. Why now? Why did Holly Valance choose this rally, this moment, to make such a public statement? Some speculate it was a spontaneous decision. Others believe it's part of a growing pattern of celebrities taking stronger political positions as society becomes more polarized. When you look back at Holly's past interviews, she's always been outspoken, unafraid to share her mind. This may simply be her living authentically, but the timing, just as the UK gears up for one of its most politically charged years, feels significant. And it raises another question. Is this just the beginning of her political journey? Imagine being in her shoes, knowing that every camera, every headline, every social post will dissect your choice. Would you still step into that rally? Would you risk the backlash? That's the power of this moment. It's not just about Holly Valance. It's about all of us, our freedom to speak, our right to disagree, and the consequences of taking a stand. This story will likely continue to develop, with more reactions from fans, critics, and maybe even Holly herself. Whether you agree with her or not, there's no denying one thing. Holly Valance has made herself impossible to ignore again. And that's where things get even more intense, because just hours after the rally, paparazzi photos surfaced of Holly leaving a private dinner with several high-profile political donors. This sent speculation into overdrive. Was this just a one-off appearance? Or is Holly quietly stepping into the world of political activism on a much bigger scale? Entertainment reporters jumped on the story, digging through her past interviews and public appearances. They noticed a pattern: subtle comments about freedom of speech, political correctness, and frustration with the direction of modern politics. This wasn't a random accident. Holly's appearance seems deliberate, calculated, and meant to send a message. And the public response is still sharply divided. Some former fans have announced they're boycotting her music and shows. Others are celebrating her as a truth teller and calling for her to run for office. This level of controversy hasn't been seen since other major celebrities publicly took sides on Brexit or US politics. Psychologists say part of why this feels so shocking is because Holly Valance represents nostalgia for an entire generation. People grew up with her on Neighbours and playing her songs at parties. Seeing her suddenly step into a highly politicized space triggers something emotional. It forces fans to reconcile the entertainer they loved with the activist they see today. Meanwhile, news outlets are still requesting an official comment from Holly or her representatives. So far, there's been silence, which only adds to the tension. Every hour that goes by without a statement keeps the mystery alive and fuels even more speculation. What's undeniable is that Holly Valance has re-entered public conversation in a way no one expected. Whether this becomes a turning point in her career, a brief controversy, or the start of a new chapter remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, we'll all be watching very closely to see what she does next. Is Holly Valance about to become the most unexpected political voice of the year, or is this just a headline-grabbing stunt? What happens next could change how the public sees her forever, and we might not be ready for the answer. Will Holly double down on her message, or will the backlash push her back into the shadows? One thing is certain, this story is far from over, and the next move Holly makes could be her most shocking yet. Stay tuned, because the truth about what really happened at that London rally might be bigger than any of us imagine.